Home Slices. It's Kiara with Home Slice Adulting, and today I'm coming to you with a review for Season 3, Episode 12, the season finale of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. This episode was about 90% Ray J and Princess and their whole wedding. So let's get started with the stuff that really wasn't that important. Let's start with Tierra and her new lawyer. She says she got rid of her old lawyer because he's basically the reason that she had to go to jail and have a $26,000 bond because there was some miscommunication about when her court date was. I don't necessarily believe that's true. I think she just didn't show up on time and she just needs somebody to blame it on. But whatever, she talks to her new lawyer and he's explaining to her how serious it is, how this misdemeanor charge has, at most a year attached to it in a real prison and not just a lockup like she was in before. So yeah, she's claiming that she's taking it seriously, but I kind of don't think that she really understood what would happen to her until she started talking to Nikki. And when Nikki was telling her how concerned she was about her, I thought it was nice to see Nikki be authentic for once and to really see that she actually cared about Tierra, because like I said, a lot of people use the word friend very loosely on this show and they stab each other in the back and talk behind each other's backs. And for her to say, I feel like you are going down the same road that my deceased brother went down, feeling like he had everything under control, when in reality, one day he's here saying that he has everything under control, and then the next, I'm saying goodbye to him, essentially on his deathbed and asking God to, bring him back. But I really think that that was a sincere moment, and that I think Tierra really needed that to really see how serious it was. That it's not just about jail time, that it's about, your life. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this episode. I like that they're ending the season at 12 episodes because Real Housewives of Atlanta likes to have 25 episodes, and I can't deal with that. Considering this is Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, I really can't deal with it for Real Housewives. So anyways, we get started with Princess and her mother Lina, and her mom is getting settled in, and they look exactly alike. And so Lina asks if Princess's dad is coming, and Princess hasn't been able to get in touch with her dad. And Lina says, maybe he feels guilty because he hasn't been there for you. And Princess was like, well, the only thing I'm asking of him is to walk me down the aisle. And she feels like he can at least do that. So they have some more conversation about Ray's mom, Miss Sonia, and how she feels. And Princess, was talking about the prenup. And Lina was very against the prenup. She felt like a prenup gave them no incentive to really work on their marriage. And to her, it seemed like an easy way out. And I really disagree. When you have people in general, but especially people who have a certain amount of fame and a certain amount of power, I think that prenups are a good idea. One, because they tend to get divorced more so than non-famous people, and two, because they have a lot more at stake. I think everyone in that situation needs to be protected. But I do see Lina's or Miss Lina's point. So anyways, next we see Brandy inserting herself into Ray J and Princess's business, and if she says prenup with a T one more time, I'm going to lose it. And she spills the beans because no one on this show can keep anyone's secret, let alone their own. And she does it under the guise of having this sort of loyalty to the Norwoods, when in reality, I think she's just kind of trying to get back at Princess for revealing her store to Ray J, which eventually led to Max finding out about it. And I mean, in both situations, there was going to have to come a time where each one of them were going to tell their significant others about these big you know, big deals, whether it's a prenup or you taking $27,000 away from your child and spending it on opening a business, they were eventually going to have to tell their partners. It's just them spilling the beans early made it sooner than it needed to be, except in Princess's case. I mean, around this time, the wedding is days away. When was she gonna tell him about this prenup? Like right before the vows, like Candy did to Todd? I don't know how that happened, but anyways, Brandy immediately regrets it. She sees how upset Ray J is, and she really thinks that she overstepped her boundaries because hindsight is 20/20, and it cost her bridesmaidship, which it should have, but we'll get to that later. Next we have the welcome party. I think this is the party where all of the people who are attending the wedding get together. His side of the family meets her side of the family, and they all get to know each other. Sonia is sat down to talk with Princess's grandmother and her mother, and in the previews, Sonia is like, you know, I don't want my son Ray J, aka the Titanic, to get hit by this iceberg named Princess so she can sink him all the way to the ocean floor. But we didn't see that in this episode per se, and I was like, you know, Mama Sonia better watch her back, because she got, you know, 2 against 1. And I didn't get to see that part, or what their response was to her making it seem like Princess was just poison to Ray J. But Lina said, you know, Princess is not the same person. You don't have to worry. So that must have settled out fine. So eventually Ray J tells Princess what Brandy told him about her, you know, seeking to draw up a prenup, and Princess's focus is immediately on Brandy instead of explaining her position. If she would have said to Ray J, the last time that we broke up, you bought the rights to my name, and in this prenup, I want to make sure that if you and I ever, you know, separate or ever get a divorce, that you don't do anything like that to me again, that I can get the rights to my name back, and so that you and I can both be protected from how vindictive we have both been in the past. But instead of expressing herself, she just put all of the blame on Brandy, not realizing that she is partially at fault for waiting just 48 hours before the wedding to even tell him about the prenup. And she's very focused on, you know, kicking Brandy out of the wedding, which she eventually does, which is hilarious, very hilarious to me. And I don't remember seeing Brandy at the wedding, so I didn't know if she kicked her only out of the bridal party or the wedding in general, which also meant that if she wasn't going to show up to the wedding, that Max didn't show up to the wedding. So we'll see how that all went. I guess they'll talk about it at the reunion. But anyways, do y'all think Brandy begged to be back in the wedding? Or I wonder how that conversation went. I really wish they would have done that on camera. But anyways, they're at the bachelorette party / bachelor party. It's a his and hers, and there's strippers and drinks and friends and that kind of thing. It's like the X-rated version of the welcome party that they did the night before. And it's still on Ray J's mind about this prenup, and he feels like she doesn't trust him after he had torn up the prenup to let her know that he fully trusts her. And he brings it up, and they really do have communication problems, because like I said, Princess could have really explained herself for why she wanted this prenup, but instead they just kind of got into this little arguing match, and she was like, you don't think I have a reason to want this prenup? And they got into this other thing, this tit for tat thing where, oh, I could be out with some strippers right now, and she was like, you know, me and my girls could be out with some strippers too. And all of a sudden Ray J gets mad, and he gives the creep squad signal, and he calls a few of his boys out, and they're like, oh, we know what that means. It's time to go see some strippers and get up out of here. And they just left. And all they needed was that little signal, and they knew what was going on. And Princess gets mad and throws a pillow, and all the guests at the bachelorette party are like, the heck is going on? And this is the day before the wedding. real quick thing, don't have your bachelorette party or bachelor party the day before the wedding. Do that like the week before or something, like a few days before. Nobody needs to be hungover on the day of the wedding. Except if it's a night wedding, I guess you can do it the previous night before. But anyways, so now it's the wedding day, and there's a song playing in the background that sounds like Ray J sang it, which was actually pretty good. It sounded okay. And Ray J says that instead of going to the strip club, he goes to his parents' house and he thinks about how much he loves Princess and how much he really wants to be with her, despite the way that they've been arguing. He tries to talk to her while she's getting ready, which kind of doesn't make sense, but whatever. He knocks on the door, and Nia, after being gone for you know, the entire season, opens the door and says, oh, she's not ready. And I see Lyrica, and I was like, this is the first time I am seeing that Lyrica is a bridesmaid. She hasn't been to any of the other bridesmaid functions. Like, she wasn't there when they were getting fitted for the bridesmaids dresses. She wasn't there when Princess was trying on wedding dresses. I didn't know what that was about. I was like, is she the replacement bridesmaid for Brandy? And then I was like, well, she would never be able to fit into Brandy's dress. I don't know what was going on. But anyways, they have this argument. You didn't even have enough respect for me to come home last night. And it's like, if last night was the night before the wedding, y'all aren't supposed to spend that night together anyway. So whatever. They're still arguing, and Ray J is very upset. And so in the next scene, well, in this scene, Lyrica says, you know, this is the day of the wedding. You all need to clear the air before you move forward. And next we see Miss Sonia, A1, Safari, and Ray J in what looks like a kitchen or something like that. And Miss Sonia is just all too happy that the wedding may not be happening. And she says, you know, I know how much you love Princess, so let me talk to her. And my first instinct was like, no. Do not talk to her. You are the last person that needs to be talking to her. But it was just weird how happy she was that the wedding might not be happening. And then in just the next few moments, go to talk to Princess alone and really just kind of clear the air. And I'm really trying to figure out what was Miss Sonia's motivation for easing Princess's worries about the wedding and their relationship. And Miss Sonia was like, you know, you can't call up this wedding because, you know, we're going to have to do this all over again. So money seemed to be a motivator. Miss Sonia didn't want to spend the extra money on having to do the wedding all over again because she knew they were not going to break up. But she said, you know, nobody has had the impact on Ray's life as much as you have. And Princess was like, you know, he's happier when we get along. And, you know, Miss Sonia is just, I know. I can't wait to have grandchildren. And I'm like, what inspired this turnaround? I don't know if her talk with Miss Lina and Princess's grandmother kind of helped ease her fears or whatever. I don't understand the 180 almost. And so they end up hugging, and that kind of eases Princess's fears. And so the next scene, we see Ray J and his groom party. What is that? Is it still bridal party? If it's like the groomsmen, there we go. The groomsmen are all in there. We have Jackie Long, who is unimportant, and we also have the Game, who should always stay like 100 feet away from a wedding because he can't get his romantic life right. But anyways, they're all talking, and Ray is just telling them about what's been going on. And he was like, Brandy wanted a, no, Brandy told me that Princess wanted a prenup. And Game was like, oh, she didn't want you to take none of her bread. That was a little shady, just a little bit, but we all thought the same thing. So I'm not going to fault the Game too much for that. But Ray J said that in her prenup, she said that if Ray J were to cheat on her, that she wanted the dogs. Now, I don't know how true that is. Maybe he did see the prenup after they had the little argument, after he ended up finding out about it. But Princess better ask for more than just the dogs. She needs to ask for the rights to her trademark back, and she needs to take half if he cheats. You know, maybe a little more. So anyways, do y'all think that that really was a $300,000 wedding? I mean, it was nice. And we did not get to see the full experience as far as what food they were eating or anything like that. But did the wedding look like it cost $300,000? Just throwing that out there. But anyways, Princess, you know, knocks on the door and says, you know, I talked to your mom, I feel a little better, and I still want to marry you. So Ray J tells her, hey, go down to the courtyard, there's a surprise for you. So she goes to the courtyard and she almost immediately starts crying because her dad, aka Megamind, is there waiting for her. Now, I don't know if y'all know what Megamind is, but it came out a few years ago. It's a cartoon movie and it really didn't do much of anything. It wasn't very popular or anything like that, but her dad looked like Megamind. The only difference is that Megamind was blue, but like even down to the head shape and the soul patch, that was Megamind. Y'all look it up, okay? So anyways, so she sees her dad and it's an opportunity for them to start over, for him to be there in such, you know, a time for her where she really needed him to be there for her. It's kind of a segue into them renewing their relationship and getting to start over and making up for all the lost time. And it kind of, because Ray did this for her, it kind of erased all the doubts she had about the wedding. So next we have Anthony Hamilton singing The Point of It All as you know, Princess is walking down the aisle alone. I thought the dad was going to walk her down the aisle, but he just gave her away. So anyways, love Anthony Hamilton and that song. You know, Mr. Willie Ray Norwood Sr. was officiating the wedding in his, you know, reverend voice. And Brandy... It was funny to me when during the vows, Princess was like, what? She couldn't understand. I thought that she heard him and she was just, you know, being funny or whatever, but I don't know. She said her vows and they got a little laugh out of that. But next we have the reception part and we have Brandy singing At Last. She sounded okay. At Last is a very popular wedding song, but it will not be played at my wedding because it's just too popular, okay? We need something a little different. But next we have a scene with A1, the Lyricas, and Pam, and they're at the wedding, they're drinking and having fun, and Big Lyrica made a joke about, you know, I was always calm, it's always been, you know, Mama Pam. And Mama Pam could have, you know, popped off, but she took it in stride and they all had a little laugh about it. And because we all know it was Big Lyrica. Everybody knows that it was Big Lyrica. So anyways, A1 finally gives Big Lyrica what she wanted, and that was an apology for eloping with Little Lyrica. And Big Lyrica accepted it and she seemed really happy about that apology, and I thought that that was great. That they really cleared the air. They were probably the most entertaining storyline on this show this season. And at the end, everybody does, you know, a little like looking to the future segment, except for Lil Fizz because he has no future. I'm kidding. I like Fizz, just not as a musician per se. I don't know, an artist. Anyways, so A1 and Lyrica are happy about their future and happy that their parents finally get along. We have Moniece, and as much as I want to like Moniece, I just don't. I think she's very petty. She made this whole season, like she said, about getting back at people, and instead of like, what happened to her song? Does anybody hear her song on the radio? No, that's because she was being petty and in everybody else's business except for her own. So and she gets a boob job and nobody cares. So next we have Masika, who is at some type of photo shoot and who's trying to be a great example for her daughter, whatever. And then we have Shonda and Willie, who we haven't seen for like 5 episodes, talk about their you know, marital issues. And so Shonda's still just living her life, and she haven't taken Willie back yet, so she's making him sweat, which I appreciate, because you know, taking him back too soon, he don't learn his lesson. So do what you gotta do. Who else? We have Nikki, who said that, you know, because she was dealing with issues, she was jumping from relationship to relationship. And the thing is, to jump from relationship to relationship means that you got out of one relationship and then you jump into another one. But no, you were dating 2 people at once. So that's not what that means. But now she's only with Safari. They're smothering coconut oil on models for photo shoots and video shoots. And Safari is happy with his, you know, business savvy, and people are taking him seriously. And then he ends the show. Somebody must have told him, you know, take us out with some of your Jamaican heritage patois. And he just, I have no idea what he said. I don't know. I don't know what any of that meant. If any of you can translate patois to English, let me know. But that's the end of this season. The season was fairly entertaining. I do like the season better than I liked the previous season, and I'm ready for a different Love and Hip Hop, and I'm most excited about Real Housewives of Atlanta because I really like that show, and I will be reviewing it. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys for the Love and Hip Hop reunion. You all have a great day, and watch some of my other reviews. I also review The Walking Dead, and there will be some weight loss videos coming as well. You all have a great day. Peace out, home slices.